that we're going to discover this morning, and I really love it. I love this particular text, Sister Jefferson, because it is a text that has been misunderstood, misread. Now, I want you to read it because I know a lot of what we read and hear in modern vernacular, in the modern world, we love to put stuff in the Bible that ain't in the Bible. So, I mean, you know how you've heard about the Daniel fast. Everybody's heard about it, and some people have tried to do it. But the word fast ain't nowhere in this text. You get what I'm saying? I'm trying to really explain it to you, that you hear people say, I'm on the Daniel fast, but Daniel wasn't on a fast. And you don't see the word fast in this text at all, because Daniel was not on a fast. Daniel was living a healthy lifestyle. And so that's really a lot of things that you have to debunk. A lot of things that people say, it's not in the Bible, it's what they put in the Bible. They add it to the Bible, and so many people I've heard, I'm on a Daniel fast. And they get it from this particular text, but he was never on a fast. Daniel was never on a diet. That's not what this text teaches, and that's not what this text is about. And so I dove into this text head first to really examine what this whole episode in Daniel was all about. And I discovered that it was about Daniel living a healthy lifestyle in order to have a healthy life. It was not about a fast, it wasn't about a diet, and it wasn't about a fad. It was something that he done spontaneously or short term or temporarily. This was the way Daniel lived before he ever got to Babylon. And so it was not something that Daniel says, I'm going to start doing this. It was something that Daniel was already doing. And I really need to explain that to you. And I really don't want to give you no lesson on hermeneutics, but it is important that when you look at the scriptures, you make sure that what you believe and understand is in the Bible. It's not what somebody said. It's not what somebody sung about. It's not what somebody has imposed upon the text to make you see something that's not there. Now, listen, I give you a chance to read it. And since I'm just giving an introduction, you find the word fast in this text, and I'll preach about it. And I'll talk about it, but it ain't in here. Because no indication in the text that Daniel went on a fast. It's no indication that Daniel went on a temporary diet. And what he said to this eunuch that was in charge of the king's servants that were exiled out of Babylon, he wanted to put them on the diet of the king, or the king delicacies and the king's wine. But Daniel said, we already have been eating healthy. We already live a healthy lifestyle. And that's really what he was saying to this eunuch. He says, listen, y'all do what y'all gonna do, and we gonna do what we gonna do. We gonna do what we've already been doing. We ain't gotta start doing it, we've already been doing it. And so let us stay on our kosher diet, and let the men that you're going to train and be a part of this 3-year training program, let them eat the king's delicacies and drink the king's wine. And he really didn't give this option of, let us see the results in 3 years, but the program was 3 years. Daniel says, I guarantee you in 10 days, we're going to look better than they look. We're going to be healthier than they are, and we're going to be in better shape than they are, because we're going to maintain the lifestyle we were living before we ever came to Babylon. So I want to teach this particular principle because I'm talking about your faith, your finances, and now on your fitness. And it is important that you maintain a healthy lifestyle. And a healthy lifestyle is about not a fad diet, not a fast, not something that's trendy, but it's something that you practice every day. You know, we've already discussed it's about mind, body, and soul. It is your mental, emotional, and physical health all tied together. And what the Babylonians are going to try to do to Daniel and his 3 friends is to change all of that. It's going to really be trying to make them more like the Babylonian men, Babylonian culture. And I really love a guy that I was listening to, a commentator, who says this: what The difference between what God did in Leviticus, he was trying to get Egypt out of them. But what Daniel says, I don't want Babylon to get into me. And that is a big difference. Because when God gave them the law of these dietary laws that were in Leviticus, God was trying to get some of Egypt out of them because they learned some bad practices in Egypt. But Daniel is going to be different. Daniel is going to say, we are exiles from the southern kingdom of Judah. We are now in exile in Babylon. And what Daniel was saying to the king or to the king's eunuch, I don't want to get Babylon in me or some of the customs, the ways, or some of the traditions as far as dietary in me. I was healthy when I got here, and I want to be healthy as long as I am here. And so I want to maintain a healthy lifestyle. And if you're going to get a hold of your health, it can't be a fad diet. It can't be this go on a fast. Let me tell you, you got to maintain a lifestyle constantly, residually, and over a long period of time. And there's a lot in here that I want to try to lift up out of this text. There are some teachable lessons, teachable moments in this particular text. Now, I'm not telling you what to do. Now, a lot of people are going to be offended by me even preaching on this subject of your health. Now, I'm not trying to tell you you got to be a certain size, you got to look a certain way. All I'm saying is you need to be healthy. And if you are healthy, you can live a good quality of life. Now, one thing you can't keep from doing, and that's getting old. Do I have any witnesses in here? You're going to get old. Your bones are going to get old. I saw a biker on my way doing my errands yesterday, and he had on the back of his leather vest as he rode the bike, he had on there a part of the Arthritis Club. And some of y'all know what that is. He said his bike said on the back of the Arthritis Club. The older you get, your body is going to change, and a lot of things are going to happen. Now, I don't care how healthy you eat, how much exercise you get, how much medicine you take, you still going to have a visit from Arthur. Yeah. Do I have any witnesses in here? Yeah. Arthritis is going to set up in your joints. And some conditions you're going to have to live with. You can't reverse them, you can't change them, you can't avoid them. There are just some medical conditions you're going to have to live with, and no matter what you do, you can't get rid of it. Boy, I'm telling you, Arthur gets in these joints. Ain't it the truth what I'm saying? And Arthur is the inflammation between where your muscles come together, and it causes this inflammation, and this inflammation is like cement. And the harder it is, the stiffer your joints is. And what you try to do is you try to loosen the inflammation and not make it like ice cream, like concrete, but you want it more like pudding. So it can kind of make your joints loose. But when it's like concrete, you get up, you stand up, but you can't bend down. Or if you bend down, you can't get back up. Do I have any witnesses in here? I'm not trying to tell you that if you live a healthy lifestyle, you can avoid these kind of medical conditions, because these medical conditions come with age. And so I'm talking to a lot of people that are just like me, you in the 50-plus club. And in the 50-plus club, I'm telling you, I don't care what you do. It ain't just like it used to. I tell you what, if it's like it used to be, you try to walk up these steps right here. You ain't gonna do it like you used to. You ain't gonna spring up these steps. You're gonna struggle up, and you're gonna struggle down, because things are just different. And I'm not trying to preach these sermons to tell you you're going to be in perfect health, because you're not. Because age is against you. But what I'm trying to tell you is that Daniel made the commitment when he left the southern kingdom of Judah under Jehoiakim, when they were brought into exile into Babylon. In chapter 1, what's going to happen, we're going to see an episode to where Daniel and his three friends are going to be challenged or compelled to start eating the king's delicacies. And I love that particular etymology of words, the king's delicacies. In other words, this was unhealthy food, but also drink the king's wine, which was also unhealthy, especially for men who were going to be in a 3-year training program. These men were to serve the king, and they were to be the best for the king. Now let me tell you this, before they ever were compelled to get into this program, they were already healthy. And you're going to see that in the text, and I really don't have time to really explain it to you, but verse 4 in chapter 1 says that what Nebuchadnezzar wanted, the Babylonians wanted, was the best that came out of the southern kingdom of Judah. They wanted youth without blemishes, good appearance, skillful in all wisdom, and endowed with knowledge, understanding, learning, competent, that could stand in the king's palace and be taught to teach them literacy and language of the Chaldean. I mean, these men were already healthy, they were already fit, they were already in great shape before they were ever chosen. And so they were the best of the best. And whenever the Babylonians captured a city, they would take the best of the best. And notice what verse 4 said. They wanted the young men. They wanted the men who had no blemishes. In other words, they were physical specimens in perfect shape. They had the perfect physiques. They didn't want anybody who was deformed, anybody who looked weak, anybody who was sick, but they wanted people who were in perfect physical shape. But they not only wanted them who had this perfect physique, but they wanted them who were very skillful. In other words, they wanted to make sure that these people or these men that they selected, that they brought to Babylon to serve in the king's palace, were not only in great shape, but they had great skill. They were skillful, and they looked like they could bring great value to the king's palace or to the king's court. And so they were already physically in shape. They didn't have to go to Babylon to get in shape. They were already physically in shape. That's why they were chosen. And I'm saying that to say this. Listen, this 3-year program was to get them in shape. But they were already living a healthy lifestyle because the Jews in southern Judah lived a kosher diet. They were living according to the Leviticus chapter 11. They were already eating healthy. They were very conscientious of their health. They were already conscientious of their physical routine, physical activity. They were very active and involved in their very, very personal health. They were already engaged. And so they didn't have to go there to try to get in shape. They were already in shape. They were already living this healthy lifestyle. But what Daniel recognized, that if they indulged in the king's delicacies and drunk the king's wine, it would put in jeopardy their health. That's the only reason why Daniel rejected this opportunity or this program to eat the king's delicacies and drink the king's wine, because he thought it was going to put in jeopardy his good health. He had a moment of clarity. We are already healthy. We've been eating good. We already are physically in shape. That's why we were chosen. Now, if we eat the king's delicacy, it could put in jeopardy our good health. Now, how many of us eat with that in mind? How what we put into our body is going to jeopardize or compromise our health. We're not supposed to eat because we're hungry. We're supposed to eat to be healthy. We're supposed to approach eating food because we're supposed to put the most nutritious food in our bodies to maintain energy and good health, that we can get the best outcome. But Daniel recognized that if they started eating this Babylonian food or these Babylonian delicacies and drinking the king's wine, it was going to jeopardize their good health. But Daniel said, no, we can't do that, or we don't want to do it. And so Daniel became proactive. He went to this eunuch and said to him, who was in charge of them, he says, listen, we can't not do it without the king giving us permission to do it and without consulting with you. And so Daniel put forth a proposal. Let the king's men that have been chosen in Babylon, let them eat what they're going to eat, and let us eat what we have been eating. And after 10 days, we're going to see if we are still healthy. And this eunuch was afraid to do that because he said, listen, I fear the king. This is what he said in verse 10. He says, I fear my lord the king, who has assigned your food and your drink. And if he sees that your condition is worse after these 3 years of training, I'm in trouble. And so I really can't let you do this because it's going to put in jeopardy, he says, my head. Yeah. That if I don't put y'all on this regimen of the king's delicacy, the king's wine, and after this training program and y'all look worse, I am in trouble. And Daniel then laid out his proposal. And listen, and I don't want to get to verse 12. Now this is what they call the Daniel's diet, but it's not Daniel's diet. It's not the Daniel's diet because verse 12 says, Daniel says, test your servant for 10 days. And listen, this is not a fast. You don't see the word fast. You don't see the word diet. He says, we already healthy. We've been eating healthy. And so let's do a 10-day test. Let us go through the training program, the physical training program, because this was not only a educational program where they taught them Babylonian culture, but it was also like joining the army. It was like going to college to learn Babylonian culture, Babylonian literature, Babylonian custom, but it was also like going to basic training. They got up every day, they ran, they exercised, they done calisthenics, they done free weight training, they done all of this. And Daniel understood that they had already been living this kind of lifestyle. And so he says, a 10-day test. Let us eat. Now, I don't even want to get into what they ate, because what they ate, we don't like to eat. Let us be given vegetables to eat. That's where they get that from. It's a no meat diet, or a kosher diet is really what the text is teaching. Now, listen, this was a more vegan or vegetarian diet. It was more kosher. They didn't eat the stuff that is laid out in Leviticus chapter 11, but they said, give us vegetables to eat with water. Boy, I don't really want to get into this because I got this group in Tupelo. Always, every year they talk about we going on the Daniel fast. I ain't going on nothing. Because first of all, you compromise your health when you go on a fad diet, because your body cannot adjust to a new diet in a 10-day period. In other words, your body is set up to respond to what you have been giving it, and when you all of a sudden cut your body off, your body cannot respond quick enough to that change that is sudden. You just don't need to be on no diet. Diets cannot help you lose weight. Diet cannot help you maintain a healthy lifestyle. You can't go on a diet. I know people do it all the time. That's why you keep being disappointed in yourself. Because you keep watching all this stuff, watching people go on diet, and you think that all of a sudden you're looking at them people on your social media pages and they talking about they in shape, and so you said, I'm going on a diet. Diets don't help people lose weight, nor does fasting help people lose weight. What helps people to maintain a healthy lifestyle and lose weight is eating and living a healthy lifestyle. Do I have any witnesses in here? I'm trying to save some of you from frustration and a visit to the emergency room. Because if you start going on these crazy fasts, either your blood pressure going to go up or down, and your blood sugar going to go up or down, and you're going to be in the hospital. Because your body cannot adjust. Don't start going all of a sudden on a vegetable and water diet. Your body can't handle that shot. Not with all them donuts and bacon and all that meat and tater chips and all that stuff you've been eating. Your body used to that stuff. The body is programmed to respond to all that you have been feeding it to turn those carbohydrates into energy. I'm just trying to save some of it. Talking about you on a diet. No, you need to live a healthy lifestyle and listen, set a 30-day goal that you're going to change your lifestyle over a long period of time, but do it one day at a time. Don't try to do 30 days in 10 days. Do 30 days in 30 days. Change it gradually. Talking about, listen, just get up and walk 5 minutes every day. Do something different every day. I love Jordan Peterson. One of my favorite books is 12 Rules for Life, Turning Chaos into Order. And he says you should never compete with anybody other than yourself, and you should only try to be 1% better today than you were yesterday. And see, that's the problem is you're trying to make these big leaps and bounds, but he says if you're going to change anything about yourself, don't try to change 10%, don't try to change 20%, just change 1%. One thing that you did different, do something yesterday, do something different today. I'm telling you, you can change your whole life if you take baby steps. Am I helping anybody? See, you're trying to turn a ship around. Listen, you can't turn a ship around. It takes a while. It takes skill. It takes energy and effort. It's different between turning a ship and a boat around. And if you're going to change something, find one thing about yourself you want to change that you don't like about your life and your lifestyle and your living, and do something small to change it. I'm trying to explain to you, you got to change though. Because I'm telling you, if you be on medication the rest of your life, if you can't eat certain things, listen, what Paul was told by God, you can eat whatever you want to. That's what he had to tell Peter. He literally says everything is permitted, but not everything is good for you. Do I have any witnesses for you in here? Listen, he says everything is permitted. There is no restrictions on what you can consume. And the Bible does not outlaw you or make it illegal or make it unscriptural for you to enjoy anything, but you got to make sure your health can handle what you consume. If you know you want a donut, you got to cut back. It's in moderation. What we don't understand is moderation. You can enjoy a donut, you can enjoy a couple of slices of bacon, but you can't eat the whole pack. You can drink a Coke, but not 5 a day. You can enjoy it, but you have to learn how to eat in moderation. I'm telling you, he said to tell Peter was tripping about this dietary thing that was now these people eating, and Paul as well. And Paul had to tell him everything is permitted, but it's not good or healthy or profitable or beneficial. I'm telling you, you can enjoy some of the indulgence of life, some of the pleasures of life, some of the delicacies of life, but you enjoy them in moderation. Ain't nothing wrong with ice cream, but you can't eat it every day. And if you're going to eat some of these unhealthy, high-carb things, make sure you tag that with a routine to burn off some of the calories that you consume. I know this is a hard sermon for y'all to hear. I'm just trying to help you. I'm telling you, that's what Daniel did. He ate vegetables and consumed water. Man, I ain't trying to get too technical with you, but vegetables are very healthy to us because vegetables are grown from the ground, and you know that you are created from the dust of the earth. And the word dust literally means the elements of the earth. What the elements come from on the periodical table is from the dust of the earth. We are all consumed. We are all built. When it says that God made Adam from the dust, it doesn't mean the dirt, but it means the dust. And that which comes from the earth can fuel that which is made of the earth. Vegetables are good for your health. You need the vitamins and minerals to fuel your body. I know you don't want to hear it, but I'm going to teach it anyway. It is true that an apple a day will keep the doctor away. If you eat broccoli, if you eat healthy vegetables, it can supplement some of the vitamins that are deficient in your body if you consume vegetables. Always need to be a part of your dietary routine. And then I'm going to talk about water, and then I'm going on because y'all done got bored now. Now, you should consume more than soda's liquor. You need to consume some water. Do you know what dehydration is? It's when your body is deficient of water. And when your body is deficient in water, your organs have to work harder in order to keep you active. And when you become dehydrated, it literally drains your energy. Now, I don't really have time because I'm not a dietitian, I'm not a doctor, but let me tell you, most of us don't consume enough water. We consume liquid, but not enough water. You are made of water and salt. You need to consume water. But what the beverage industry has told us is that there is a substitute for water, and I'm telling you, it ain't no substitute for water. Tea ain't no substitute for water, coffee ain't no substitute for water, and sodas, a Coke, whatever the region of the country you from, sodas or Coke is not a substitute for water. And don't let me get on this. I don't understand how we got to pay for water that comes out of our sinks every day. I'm telling you, they try to get us to consume every liquid but water. You need to consume a glass of water when you wake up and a glass of water before you go to bed. But I know that's going to be hard for us men because when you get past 50, you have more bathroom trips after 7. So I know that's hard for us. And so you start sipping a glass of water around 5. But don't go up and down all at one time because you'll be up like I'm up. But I'm telling you, water will change your health. Before you get active in the morning, get up and drink a full glass of water, not cold, but room temp, and your day will go better. Ain't it the truth what I'm saying? I'm telling you what I know, but what we do, we get up and consume coffee and caffeine, and it does not hydrate us. It just gives us a caffeine high, and we are still drained as soon as the caffeine high wears off. Because we have not consumed enough water. You got to get some water in your body. Water is like oil. You know what will happen if you don't have oil in your engine? All of the parts in there rub against each other, friction, and causes a lot of smoke. Your low energy you got is called smoke, invisible smoke. But if you consume water, you will feel better in the day. I'm trying to explain this to you. We are consuming more liquids in America. When I go to the grocery store, folk have whole cases of pops in their buggy. Some hanging over, 6-pack, split down the buggy. And all we do is consume all of these liquids that do not hydrate us. And Daniel said, we'll eat vegetables and water. Then our appearance and the appearance of those the youth who eat the king's food, they're going to look different at the end of 10 days. He said, we're going to look different. And really, I had really enough time to really study this. He says, you're going to look at them. They're going to be more plump. I'm trying to be real careful what I say. I don't want to offend anybody. They're going to be real plump or obese. They're not going to be as healthy. We're going to be more healthy after the 10 days. And listen, I'm not trying to point anybody, say anything, because there are some skinny people that ain't healthy, and there are some heavier people that are healthy, and they ain't went to the doctor a day in their life. So I'm not saying that by any means, because the size of a person does not determine the health of a person. Because you do know that science says and medicine says that the older you get, the more weight you need to have. You don't need to get skinnier as you get older. You need to have more body mass, because it takes a whole lot more energy just for you to get up, sit down and walk to the door. I'm not trying to tell anybody that you are obese, anybody that you're too skinny. I'm talking about good health. He says, we'll see what the results are going to be. And Daniel said, in verse 14, he says, so he listened in this matter, and he tested them for 10 days. And let me tell you, after 10 days, now listen, I didn't say this. This is what verse 15 said. They were better in appearance, fatter in the flesh than all the youth who ate the king's food. And don't let the word fatter make you think of any obese or being plump, but they were more physically attractive in the fact that they look lean and healthy. And that is important, my brothers and sisters, to be healthy. I'm telling you, if the black community, and I was listening to the Black Cardiologists of America, they came out with a program 10 years ago. 10 years ago, the Black Cardiologists of America came out with this, and you ain't gonna like it. You know what they came out with, an initiative? Don't eat the church food. In order to reverse the health effects of unhealthy black people, they came out with an initiative. If you don't believe me, Google it. Don't eat the church food, because they say it's high in sodium, high in fat, high in sugar. And let me tell you, when you have health issues, do I have any witnesses that it will affect your pocketbook? If you don't eat healthy and this stuff starts affecting your health, it will affect your pocketbook. It will take up some of your time. And the Black Cardiologists of America says it's costing black people money. Heart disease, diabetes, because we don't eat right. We don't consider what we consume affects our health as much as we can control. And so after 10 days, he says they look better in their appearance, they're fattier in their flesh, are more healthy, more robust in their flesh. And so the steward took away the food and the wine that they were drinking and gave them vegetables. Now listen, ain't that a reverse? Because listen, he says we're going to put you on the king's diet, but Daniel says our diet is more beneficial and healthy. And so this eunuch that was in charge of these men put everybody on Daniel's diet. And we ain't ran into the word fast yet. But it was a lifestyle. And so now everybody was eating healthy, getting plenty of water, and getting a different result. And so as these 4 youth, God gave them learning and skills in all literature wisdom, and Daniel had understanding of visions. I'm telling you, my brothers and sisters, you can change your life by changing your diet. Make sure that you live a healthy lifestyle. Now let me tell you, you know who got the power to change your life? You. You know, there's this old saying says you need to be your best physician. Before you ever go to the doctor, you should be your number one advocate. You know the first thing they do, according to most statistics, the pharmaceutical industry, the pharmaceutical complex, if you go to the doctor and tell them you hurting anywhere, anything wrong with you, you know the first thing they do is put you on some pills. I mean, I ain't never seen a time where there's a pill for everything. Now listen, old people, y'all don't know nothing about old folk. They didn't go to the doctor. They had enough ingenuity. I mean, they put you on a pill for everything. A pill for when you're depressed. A pill when you can't sleep. A pill when you're sad. A pill when you're too happy. You go to the doctor, they'll tell you, we got a pill for that. For everything. You need to be your best advocate. And I'm not a doctor. I'm not trying to be a medical professional, but you don't need to be on that many pills. Don't make me get real emotional about this. Some of these kids don't need no Adderall for their behavior. They don't need these mood-altering drugs, these psychotropic drugs to make them behave. What they need is the Bible says to spare the rod. You spoil. They don't need no medicine. They need the rod of. And you wonder why they need drugs when they grow up as teenagers. They need weed to stay high. Then they need Oxycontin to come low. And they started them out in the pharmaceutical trade when they were in elementary school. And that ain't nothing that a little discipline would not have. My grandma used to go, I wish we would have went in Big Mama's house, Carver Trailer, talking about, Big Mama, I'm depressed. She'd be like, you better get out of here. I'm bored, but go out there and chop some wood. I'm telling you, they have a pill. You go in the doctor, tell them anything wrong with you. They pull out that little white pad and write you we are the most addicted culture in the world. We need a pill to go to sleep, a pill to wake up, a pill to be happy, a pill to be sad when we're too happy, a pill to be active, a pill when we're too active to keep us not be hyperactive. What kind of crazy nonsense is that? We are addicted. And then we wonder why we are crack addicted, weed addicted, Oxycontin addicted, methamphetamine addicted, because people are addicted to drugs. And the worst drug dealers in America is the pharmaceutical industry. Because they do it legally. Get our kids addicted to drugs. Unnecessary drugs. I mean, I'm telling you, the problem with us If we want a pill to fix anything, well, we could eat ourselves to good health. If we would be more conscious about what we put in our bodies and be very active when it comes to our bodies and become more social, get up, get active. Do like Gladys, go over to the YMCA, put on a one-piece bathing suit, get in the pool. Swim and throw a ball with the rest of the old folks. If you can't exercise out of the water, get in the water. But get active. I'm telling you, a pill is not the cure to every ailment we have. Food is. I encourage you as a membership, since we're on this subject, to start studying what foods are good and what foods are bad. Make sure your plate is very colorful. And make sure it has the green and the blues and the purples and the burgundies colors on your plate so you can be healthy. Now let me give you this, and I'm closing because I'm just trying to teach this. And listen, I'm telling you this kind of information to get you in trouble with society. And let me tell you, that was the problem with Daniel. Daniel got in trouble because he did not allow them to politically indoctrinate him or culturally indoctrinate him, because Daniel was from Judah, and God had already told them what to do and what not to do. And Daniel says, even though we're coming into Babylonian culture, we're not going to let Babylonian culture get into us. We're going to maintain what we believed before we ever got here. We're not going to give in to the cultural norm. We're not going to be pressured to give in to it. That's the problem in America. We are most unhealthy people in the world. And I'm going to tell you this, and you ain't going to believe what I'm telling you, but it's amazing that the industrial complex of pharmaceuticals and the industrial ag complex both work together along with the medical complex. All of them are in the bed together. One gets you sick, the other one keep you sick, and the other one try to heal you from getting. I mean, you know, all these people are in the bed together. Because listen, if the doctor really gave you good medical advice, he'd tell you to stop eating certain things that's causing you to be sick in the first place. But he says keep eating them in order to fuel the ag industry, which is the food industry. Drink as many Cokes, eat as much sugar, and I'll give you a pill to knock the sugar down. Instead of just saying to you, if you eat healthy, you'll feel better, and life will be better for you. Now, don't that sound crazy? And then the medical complex. Let me tell you something. North Mississippi Medical Center is so big, it's half the space in the city of Tupelo, taken up by one hospital. Now, listen, they shouldn't be in the business of keeping you in the hospital, but getting you well. But medicine in America is not incentivized to get you well, but to keep you sick. They need you to be a repeat customer. They ain't trying to get you well. If they did, they'd give you some different medical advice. I'm telling you, and I'm closing because I'm going to get in trouble, but if you go to your doctor and you ran out of your prescription, and he say to you, you need a refill, you know something's wrong. You didn't ask for one. Because at some point, you got to take some personal responsibility and be your own advocate in the doctor's office. When the doctor says, I'm going to put you on some medicine, you need to ask him, is there any other way I can do this? Is there anything else I can do to get my blood pressure down, to regulate my blood sugar, to kind of get this headache gone? I'm telling you, my brothers and sisters, we are unhealthy because we do not live healthy lifestyle. Daniel was unwilling to buy into the political nor the cultural, not even let them tell him what to put in his body, but Daniel took charge. Took responsibility. Let me give you these three things. It was about Daniel's commitment, It was about Daniel's discipline, and it was about Daniel's determination. And if you're going to change your life, commitment, you got to commit to do a good thing a long time. And you got to be disciplined to do what you've been committed to. And you got to be determined that you're going to do it for your own benefit. Now, we told in seminary school that we're not supposed to put ourselves in a sermon unless it is absolutely necessary and it's relevant to the message that you're preaching, because you're not supposed to make the sermon about you. So that what I'm about to share with you is directly related to the sermon. Everybody in my family, from my mother to my siblings, are all on medications. I determined I don't want to do that. I might have to, but I really don't want to do that. I don't want to have to take insulin shots every day. I don't want to have to take blood pressure. I don't want to have to take metformin. I don't want to have to take cholesterol. That's what I determined. So I said, I'm going to make some lifestyle choices. Is there any other option other than being dependent upon these things? Because it restricts what you can do. I'm too forgetful to have to shoot myself in the arm every day. And other than that, TJ, I'm too scared. But you have to make changes. That's what the Daniel discipline. It is commitment, it is discipline and determination. Every head bowed and every eye closed. I know these sermons are not flashy, but I'm telling you, you can change your lifestyle. Don't let the ag industry and the industrial complex of pharmaceutical and the medical industry fool you into believing you need them for the rest of your life. Some things you can change if you just change your lifestyle. Eat healthy, become more active, like Daniel and his 3 friends, and it'll change your life. You might be here today if you don't know Jesus Christ. You can accept him as your personal Savior. If you believe in your heart, confess with